The job situation is still a big problem in this country, and that's got a lot of people asking, what gives? We're asking that.
You know, Rebecca, our next guest is also asking exactly that. What gives? And here's a quote from him, quote, we don't need we don't need another federal program, we don't need another federal policy, and we certainly don't need another federal stimulus. Welcome, Representative Michael Burgess, Republican from Texas. You know, you're one of the few Republican Democrat regimers out there that has the credibility to say that we don't need any of that stuff, because you're one of the few that didn't vote for the 2008 Republican stimulus or the 2009 stimulus or any of the secret bailouts. How about it?
Very kind of you to notice. It's true, and you know what we've done, I think, and what I fear is we've created an environment right now that is so hostile for the small, medium, or large-size employer to create new jobs. I mean, they don't know what we're going to do in energy. They certainly don't know what we're going to do in health care. They're scared to death of what we're going to do in financial regulation. This health care bill is full of unintended consequences just waiting to happen. So they're scared. And even if they may feel the economy is improving a little bit where they are, they're still not to the point where they're confident enough to take the risk of adding another job.
Can I just follow up, because that's the point we were making earlier, Tracy? Congressman, explain that for me. I know there are a lot of uncertainties, unknowns out there, as there always are in life. Why would that solely, if a business is doing well, why wouldn't they hire? There's always going to be uncertainties out there. If your business is doing well, then go ahead and hire somebody. I don't think that's 100% it. I don't think that consumer spending, they're not having people buy their product or go to their restaurant. I think it's more the consumer than all the uncertainties. Not that it's saying it's not a problem, but I think it's more the consumer.
Well, you're correct. It does come at it from both sides. But when we look at this morning, we were focusing on jobless numbers, and it wasn't just 10.2%. It was that 17.5% of Americans who fall into the category of the hopelessly unemployed. They gave up and they're not even looking for work any longer. You talk about a sobering number. There is a real sobering number. Now, is it true that because people the consumers are scared that they're holding back? To be sure. But the fact that the jobs are not coming back in this economy, I think, has gotten a lot of people's attention. And I know it affects decisions in my household. We are making decisions where we are putting off purchases or putting off improvements. The employers are doing the same thing. Look, we had a good third quarter report in our economic committee a week ago or 2 weeks ago. A lot of us are concerned that we just simply accelerated fourth quarter earnings into the third quarter with the miracle of cash for clunkers. The fact remains that employers are nervous there, and with good reason. We are going to slap an 8% payroll tax on small employers this weekend with our health care bill. No one knows what the effect of that is going to be. But if I'm an employer in the small market and I'm looking at adding a job or two here in the next couple of months, maybe I am going to hold off till the first of the year till I kind of get a good idea of what Congress is going to do. And a financial planning firm, you bet I'm holding off until I see what happens with this new financial planning regulatory regimen that we're going to introduce.
Well, sir, I'm with you. I think everyone's holding off. Everyone's on edge. No one knows what to do. Unemployment insurance keeps getting extended, so I'm not sure why you should even look for a job these days, because the government is just taking care of you. And now we have breaking news. We hear that Freddie Mac expects to request more money, more funding from Treasury. What happens with this? Where do we go from here?
Well, it does seem like a never-ending series of similar requests. You know, interestingly, you mentioned about the unemployment insurance benefits. That question was asked this morning at the Department of Labor. They were a little bit evasive, but they said there was some data to suggest that job search activity began to increase around the time of the conclusion of the benefits. That is, the longer you postpone the end of the benefits, the longer you postpone the job search.
Representative, you know, on that very note, it's really scary for all of us out here watching the Republicans and Democrats over the last 2 years go down that very slippery slope of these endless bailouts and throwing more money after bad. Is there any chance that you guys, Republicans and Democrats, can somehow step up and turn the tide so we do get back to rule of law and no longer rewarding this crony capitalism?
I will have to tell you that I can't say that there's a strong sense of that, but there were 16, 18 of us who who have rejected since January of 2008 have rejected all of these growth programs and stimulus and cash for clunkers and bailouts. I think that number is growing. I don't know what the how solid that number is at this point, but I think the number is growing. The other side of the coin,
Go ahead.
sir. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say we get to the question of earmarks in the next appropriation cycle. I think you're going to see some significant resolve, not necessarily because members of Congress have developed themselves, but because they're listening to the electorate out there. We kind of got some of that message Tuesday night.
Yep.
Congressman, thanks for joining us. You know, you 18 might be the only safe ones in all of Congress, because anybody that's done any of these corporate crony bailouts.
But we need some solutions then. If people are relying on the government.